Hi friends, my name is Jess and welcome back to my channel, Books Past Bedtime. Today we're doing another installment in my monthly TBR game where I have my tarot cards pick my TBR. Like usual, I did draw 6 cards. If you are new to this game, I basically every month let my tarot cards pick my TBR by drawing a set of 6 cards, and I have developed prompts for each and every card, and so when that card comes up, I just pick a book that matches that card's prompt, and that's how my tarot cards pick my TBR. So let's just hop right into picking the cards. The first card I drew was the 4 of Pentacles. This card stands for money and abundance, and so my prompt for this card is to read a book with rich characters, and for that prompt I think I'm going to read It Happened One Summer by 𝗙𝗵𝗡𝗧. This is the Sugar and Spice book club pick for July. I'm very excited to jump in, and I believe that it's like a 𝗕𝗁𝗄𝗃 Creek retelling, and I've never seen 𝗕𝗁𝗄𝗃 Creek, but I think it's like this really rich family loses all their money and has to figure it out. I don't really know, but this is like a romance between the girl of the previously rich family and like a man in the new town that they moved to, something like that. I have never read a 𝗙𝗵𝗡𝗧 but I am very excited to jump in, and I think it'll be a fun time. I always love reading with the Sugar and Spice book club hosted by Kirsten and Amanda, so definitely don't want to miss this month. The next card I drew was the Queen of Swords. This card represents femininity and a feminine authority, and the prompt for this card is to read a book with a beautiful cover. And for that, I'm going to read a book that I was supposed to read in June, and that is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This is a nonfiction autobiography of Glennon Doyle's life growing up as like a queer woman, I believe. I don't really know a ton about it, but it definitely has one of the most beautiful covers I have ever seen, so it will be perfect for this prompt. The next card I drew was the Moon. This card can represent like a deception or a delay, or possibly like an emotional roller coaster, emotional ups and downs, but the prompt for this card is to read a thriller. And for that, I'm going to be picking up Survive the Night by Riley Sager. This is Riley Sager's newest release. When I'm filming this, it actually just came out yesterday, and I am so happy to have my hands on it. I cannot wait to pick it up. Riley Sager is like quickly becoming one of my favorite thriller authors. I'm so excited to dive into this one. This one basically follows this young college girl, and she agrees to like a ride share home to her hometown for like some kind of a school break. Little does she know, the man that is driving the car that she is on this journey with might possibly be a serial killer. So this one definitely has no exit vibes, I feel like, with the whole like driving isolated thing, but this one definitely sounds so good and I cannot wait to pick it up. The next card I drew was the Queen of Wands, and this card really stands for like independent feminine energy, positive fiery women. So the prompt for this card is to read a standalone, and I have lots of standalones on my TBR this month. I am pretty much a standalone reader anyway, but for this prompt, I did put Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers here. I am very excited to pick this one up, and I think it's about strong, independent women, so I feel like it fits this card perfectly. This book basically follows our main character who is burnt out after like getting a college degree, master's, etc. So she goes for one wild weekend in Las Vegas and ends up married to another woman. And she has to figure out if she wants to stay in this marriage and what she wants for her life. So I think that this is like an emotional kind of romance, but I'm very excited to pick it up, and I've heard really, really good things. next card I drew was Strength, and this card is pretty self-explanatory. It stands for inner strength. It can represent like confrontation between yourself or others. And so the prompt for this card is to read a book with a powerful main character. For that, I'm picking another book that I was supposed to read in June that I didn't read. Well, I did start it, I'm like halfway through, but that is The Japanese Lover by 𝗙𝗵𝗻𝗄𝗧 𝗙𝗪. This is a historical fiction novel about this Polish woman who leaves her country when World War II happens. When she moves to America, she meets this young Japanese boy and they form a really close bond and friendship. But then the attack on Pearl Harbor happens and the internment of Japanese Americans, and so they are separated. But I believe they reconnect later on in life because we're also following another like future timeline where she is in a nursing home, and it's really good so far. I'm really enjoying it, but our main character is definitely like extremely strong. She survived all of these obstacles in her way and still became like a powerful woman. So I definitely think that this one will fit that prompt, and I'm excited to finally finish this one. And finally, the last card I drew was the Five of Cups. And this card kind of represents loss, particularly like monetary loss, that kind of thing. But the prompt for this card is to read a book that features a breakup. Now I had to get a little creative with this one because I don't have a lot of like romances on my shelf or books that I was planning to read that have like some kind of breakup or like second chance romance kind of thing. I do think The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by 𝗙𝗵𝗻𝗄𝗧 will kind of work for this. This is a fantasy novel about this girl who makes this a deal to like live. I don't remember what the deal is, but she, like, an unintended consequence of this deal is that she's like gonna live forever, but everybody forgets her, so nobody ever remembers her. So I feel like every time she meets somebody, it's a breakup, you know? But that's what we're going to read for that one. Very excited. I'm kind of apprehensive to pick this one up because this one has so many mixed reviews now, but there are some very positive reviews, which is one of the reasons why I'm reading this. It's gonna be in a secret TBR, little hint there, but I'm not sure I'm gonna love this one, but I'm gonna pick it up and I'm excited to read it anyway. Now, as always, those aren't all of the books that I plan to read this month, so let me just run through what else that I am going to try to get to this month. Keyword try. First, I am planning to buddy read The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson with my friend Savannah from 𝗪𝗏𝗡𝗡 Reads. I think we're probably going to read this in the beginning of the month during Summerween. I probably won't be participating in Summerween just because I'm overwhelmed, but I definitely am excited to read this along with her, and I might see what prompts I can cross off, but yet to be determined. Anyway, this book is a historical fiction horror novel set in, I think it's supposed to be like the Salem area, the Salem, Massachusetts area, but I don't think that's what it's called. I don't know. Anyway, this girl's mother was like killed for being a witch, I believe, and so she is very like puritanical, wants to avoid getting murdered. But then she discovers something that makes her believe that her mother might have actually been a witch, so she starts practicing, I think is kind of what happens. But I've heard nothing but good things from this one, and I think that this sounds amazing and it will be like very feminist, and I can't wait to pick it up. I think it's going to be really good. Alright, that's the only buddy read I have planned for this month, but I do have quite a few book clubs that I am participating in. So first of all, I still need to finish Darling by Kay Ancrum. This is for the Minors Book Club, which I'm going to be a guest host for. I think this live show will probably be happening in like a week or so, but this is a Peter Pan retelling with like a thrilling twist. Like, I don't think it's really fantasy at all, but instead it's like a thriller, and I have started it and it's very good so far. Kay Ancrum is one of my favorite authors. I love them. I think that they just have a great writing style and I really connect to their characters. So I'm very excited to finish this one up and see what I think of it. I'm listening to the audiobook and the audiobook is good so far, would recommend. So, and it's very short. It's only like 6 hours total. So this one should be easy to finish and I am definitely liking it so far. I also still need to finish the June book club pick for the Sugar and Spice book club, and that is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I think that this live show is taking place after the July 4th holiday as well. So I have some time to finish it up, but this is basically a female-female romance set in New York City, and it's between normal girl August, who is like a college student and she commutes to college every day on the train. And on the train she meets Jane, who just happens to be this woman who is displaced from the 70s, and August starts to figure that out and she's like, what the heck? And I think she has to help Jane like get back to where she's from, which is hard because August is falling for her. I have started this one and I love it so far. It is really cute. I am having a great time. I really love the characters, and 𝗙𝗄𝗄 𝗏𝗂𝗏's writing style is just so addictive to me. So I have high hopes for the rest of it, and I'm very excited to keep reading it. I also really like that it's got like a witchy astrological element to it, and it's not quite full contemporary. It's got some fantasy speculative elements. I'm really liking it. I think it's really good, and I'm excited to finish it up. And then I already mentioned that It Happened One Summer is the July book club pick for the Sugar and Spice book club, so I'm going to be reading that for sure. Untamed is the book for the Nonfiction Baddies book club hosted by 𝗙𝗄𝗄 and 𝗙𝗵𝗱𝗲. It's like the June-July pick, so I can read it this month and it'll be alright. And then for 𝗙𝗄𝗄 and 𝗙𝗵𝗱𝗲's other book club, the 20-something book club, they are reading Permanent Record by 𝗪𝗁 in July, so I'm definitely going to try and pick that one up as well. I don't really know a lot about this one. I know that it's like a contemporary new adult romance similar to Emergency Contact by 𝗪𝗁, I believe. I loved Emergency Contact. I haven't read Yoke yet, but I'm very excited and think I will really enjoy it. But excited to pick this one up with them and think it'll be a fun time. And then finally, I am a part of an in-person book club with the ladies of my neighborhood. And this month we are reading The Night Tiger by Yin-Xi Chu. I don't know if I said that right. I really don't know a ton about this. I believe it's historical fiction set in the 1930s in Malaysia, and it follows these two different characters as a kind of like coming of age, and I think that they are people that the society does not approve of. They would rather them stay silent or something. I'm doing a great job of explaining books today. I'm not really sure what this is about, but it's got a very pretty cover, and I'm excited to pick it up and see what everybody thinks of it. Okay, now I have a bunch of videos coming up planned that I have books that I want to read for, so let's just go through those really quick. So of course, these two I talked about last month, plus The Scent Keeper by Erica Bowen Meister as being part of a secret TBR. Obviously, I've not finished that, so still need to read all three of these books for that video. But The Nightingale is basically a historical fiction World War II novel following two sisters as they deal with the war. I think they live in France, and just how it affects them and how it affects their relationship, I believe. Literally heard nothing but good things about this book, so I was kind of afraid that it was going to be like boring and slow, but my friends have actually told me that it's pretty fast-paced, so I'm even more excited to pick this up now. I just have to do it. And then The Scent Keeper by Erica Bowen Meister. I don't know how to say her last name. I'm sorry, I don't even remember because it's not in front of me. This book is kind of like magical realism, and it follows this father and daughter who live on this isolated island away from everyone else. The daughter doesn't even know, I don't think, that the rest of the world exists. But the father collects scents in these jars, and they kind of like come about by magic or something. But then like all of the scents start to dissipate and go away, and I don't know. It's a very hard book to explain, I feel like. I've started this one as well, actually, and it's really good so far, and my friend 𝗙𝗏𝗏 compared it to Where the Crawdads Sing. That makes me really want to read it, and I think it's going to be good. Now, the second secret TBR that I'm going to be reading for includes Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.H. Schwab, plus Shipped by Angie Hockman and Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. If you know what I'm doing, definitely guess below in the comments. I would love to hear your guesses. But yeah, I've already explained these two. Shipped by Angie Hockman is a summery romance, I believe. And I think it's on a cruise ship, and I think that's why it's called Shipped. I don't really know. I'm so bad at I didn't look up what any of these books are about. And I also don't know what Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier is about. I know that it's a thriller, and I know that Haley loved it, and that's really all I need to know when it comes to books. And then I'm also doing a graphic novel themed secret TBR, and I have 5 of those books left on my TBR for this month. One of those is Check Please by Ngozi Akazu, and this is like a really cute queer graphic novel about this college hockey team, and our main character, he's like a YouTuber, he's a vlogger, he likes to bake, he is a cinnamon roll, and I think it's his romance with one of the older boys on the team or something like that, but it's cute so far. And then also On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden. This is a female-female romance space opera book with like beautiful art. I've read Tilly Walden before and absolutely loved her work, so I'm very excited to pick this one up, and I just think I'm gonna love it. And then the other couple graphic novels are Our Dreams at Dusk by Yuki Kamatani. Don't know what this is about. Electra by Dershing Helmar. Don't know what this is about. And At the Times I Knew I Was Gay by Eleanor Cruz. Don't know what this is about either, so the theme of these 3 books is that I have no idea what they're about. I just know that they're all queer, which is all I really need to know. And so we'll find out what else they're about together when that video comes out. Alright, and then I have 2 more books on my TBR. These are for like a long-term video that's going to be coming out like at the end of the year. But I need to get started, as you know, because I'm a procrastinator. So the first of those is The Fireman by Joe Hill. And I actually started this one yesterday, and it's way better than I was expecting it to be. This one is about a pandemic, about a good old panorama, and it was written pre-COVID times, so quite interesting. But this one is about this world where this pandemic happens, and it's basically like people get these like tiger stripes that look like coal, and then they like burst into flames randomly. That's the pandemic, and it's very like contagious. You just have to touch somebody and they get it kind of thing, but they don't really know exactly how it's transmitted, and like the hospitals are filled up and like world shutting down. Ooh, it's a little bit hard to read. I definitely couldn't have read this like peak lockdown. It would have been very traumatic. So be aware if you're interested in this book. It is very reminiscent of the world we are living in right now, which is crazy. This is really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. Hopefully I can read this chunk before the end of the month, especially because I have a couple long books on this TBR, including this last book that I'm going to talk about, which is The Institute by Stephen King. And in this book, we're following our main character, Luke. Luke is kidnapped in the middle of the night and taken to this place called the Institute, which is a place where all of these kids with like powers live. Like a lot of them have like telekinesis or like mind reading or something like that. And this place is like really evil. They're trapped there. So I think that they're going to try and take it down or something. This one's always also chunky, but this is probably one of the Stephen Kings that I'm most interested in, so I am excited to pick this one up, and it will also be featured in a video a long time down the road. Alright, that was my July TBR. I definitely think it's probably a little overambitious. I don't know if I'll get to all of these, but I hope that I will. I've been in a more motivated, happy mood recently. I'm like finally out of my life slump, so I'm hoping that that will translate to a little bit more reading than usual, but this year I've been averaging like 6 books a month, so I don't know that I'll get to all 22 of these books, but some of them are graphic novels, so that helps, and some of them are short, and some of them I've already started, so I'm hopeful. But we shall see. Yeah, that's that. As always, all of these books that I talked about will be linked down in the description below. If you're interested in any of them, buy through my link because it will really help me out. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you feel so inclined. And don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you would like to see more from me. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you watching this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.